The jar is right here. Okay, wait. You gotta wait till the start. Wait till Mr. O is ready to go. That's Miss Daisy's jar.
That's for his jar.
We're waiting for him to get ready to start. We're gonna put that there. Everybody see where the tip jar is? You got it.
The boys.
How many keys is that?
You want to put him right now? Okay, go ahead. Put money in there. The money goes in the tip jar. Okay, it's not going to be whatever. You want to do it when we start? Okay.
Test one. Test.
You got
On.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys are going in the, I don't know what you guys doing.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
All right, this is for his tip. Okay, he's ready to start.
Hello.
Let's call for the tip jar.
Hello.
Anybody else for the tip jar? Okay.
So,
Hello.
your group has,
All right, Mr. O is going to tell
Hey,
you where he
Kyle.
wants you
Can
to
you
stand.
speech up? Kyle, speech up.
All right, and we're not going to get in the way because I think Mr. DeCorpo is going to tape it for us.
okay. So, let me get out here so you guys can have all the seats.
Oh, you can go wherever you want, but make sure you can see what he's doing with his feet. Maybe go around to the side over there. You got to see what goes on with his feet.
I'm not sure everybody understands.
Yeah, they
Let
really
me get
are.
downstairs.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. O, can you wait a minute? I'm going to get downstairs.
So I told the parent to get out here so you guys can see.
But why don't you come back?
Not here. Jeopardy, yeah, well, that's, wait music. Wow. So, do I play with my feet or not? Play with my feet? That's ridiculous. Nobody plays with their feet. No, Kyle, no. This is I do a single. That's all. So.
Test.
1, 2, 3.
So just stand in the middle, Ginny, so we don't get it feedback.
Well, let's wait till,
Right here's fine.
well, wait a minute.
Okay.
So.
More
Not how long is this work? When was it invented? Yeah, the concept. So the concept of pressing a lever, which blows some air up into a pipe, makes a note. Right? When did that concept get invented?
That's what Kyle just said. Yeah.
2,300 years ago, 2,000 years ago, at least in Greece, and before that, the Egyptians had something like that, 5,000 of years, and not much has changed. Not much has changed. See those pipes? Those are just tubes. Inside, that's a room. That's a big room that's full of different kinds of pipes. Wood, tin, zinc.
Where is that?
It's right behind you.
It's up to you
Yeah.
You have to go up the attic to get the Christmas tree. It's behind there.
Right?
I'll show you next time, we have to go up there.
Now,
Please give Dave the microphone.
Dave, is the microphone? Get a tape.
I can't hear you, Dave. Please give Dave the microphone.
I don't know.
No, they-
I have it.
He's got it right behind him.
It's going to be difficult. One. So, next question. How many pipes does this organ have? Huh? Millions. See, now you're not. Now you're not even trying.
Couple hundreds.
Couple hundred, 50.
As many as their keys. 35. 2,000. Same amount of
Well, as many seven keys, there's a good interesting idea. As many keys. So hang on, there's 61 keys here. There's 61 keys here. That's 122. And there's 32 keys down there. But that's still not enough. There are 1,100 pipes like that.
1,000.
1,100 pipes. And the tallest pipe is 16 feet tall. And it makes this note. Okay. And the smallest pipe, how big do you think is the smallest pipe? 1 inch.
Whoa.
I call it.
That's
1 inch. Now each one of these buttons is a row of pipes. It's called, that row of pipes corresponds to all these. Pipe, 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 all pipes. And every single one of these represents a row of pipes. That's how you get to 1,000. So the biggest pipe organ in the country, how many pipes do you think that has?
1 million.
A million. You guys are no help. 33,000 pipes. Each one has got to be tuned by hand. And it takes,
33,000.
yeah, 33,000 pipes. And that's the largest pipe organ in the country. They have a staff of 12 people full-time just to take care of it.
Where is that?
Convention Hall, Ocean Beach in Jersey.
Wow.
New Jersey. So how much does this instrument weigh? So when you put all 1,000 pipes and this, how much do you think this all weighs?
40,000.
40 million.
3 tons.
So you guys are no help.
200 pounds.
So 8,000 pounds.
4 tons.
8,000 pounds, 4 tons, exactly right, 4 tons. Yep. The largest pipe organ is 60 tons. Because they're big, heavy instruments. Why are they so big and heavy? Because how do you think they get the air into those pipes? All right? Big blowers, big air blowers. They start back there. Hang on. Excuse me, guys.
I see 2 rows.
Ta-da! So, but you can't see this. Now, those are called chests. So somewhere down in the basement, there are blowers that blow air into these heavy chests. These weigh hundreds of pounds each, and there's lots of them. And they keep the air pressure. Yeah, so the way the Greeks did it was they used to put a pipe organ near a waterfall. And water would pour into these cases and press air down, and then the air would escape and go to the pipes. So, now, so I'm going to put this down. So, question you asked, do I play with my feet? Yes. Okay, so a good organist is supposed to be able to do anything with your feet that you can do with your hands. So it's... Now, also what you can do, now, you can also play, well, I got a question for you guys. Kids may not know this. So this is such an ancient instrument. We call it a pipe organ today, but most of those thousands of years, we call something else. What? Called Vox Dei, Latin, voice of God. And it's the only instrument, to this day, the only instrument that, unless somebody wants to hold this for me. Yeah, somebody hold that for me.
No, hold it up so we can hear.
Yeah, hold it up to me. So, thank you. So it's the only instrument that reproduces the voice of God like you see in Scripture. So in Scripture, what do we hear? We hear the voice of God thunders across the waters, right? Or the voice of God comes to Elijah in the cave, a small, still voice, right? Oh, that doesn't work. Turn on. Only instrument in the world that can do this. That loud, and also that quiet. Why is it quiet? Because
Well, no, that it can do, that it can do it and other instruments can't.
well, the other
Heights.
instruments produce really one column of image. So think of
Okay.
how you play saxophone.
Yeah.
It's one column of image.
Okay.
This is 1,000 columns of air. And so
Then
just like when you have 1,000 people in a room,
Okay,
where you want one person talking, it's not that loud, 1,000 people talking, pretty
so
loud.
the axes are different.
They reinforce each other.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The Fox Day. So with the pedals, you can do interesting things. So a couple Sundays ago, you were playing Mighty Fortress. Okay, I could have introduced it like that, or I made it more interesting. All right. Or you can do something with the pedals, create some anticipation in the introduction. And all you do is, that's just two notes. When we do How Great Thou Art, I hear the rolling thunder. You don't hear it, but very quietly, I hear the rolling thunder. Okay? And you just let it. You don't consciously hear it, but subconsciously your brain feels it. And you feel that thunder. All right, so each one of these is a different sound. That's why we have so many of them. So. Same thing with the pedals, right? Each one's a different sound. Oh, sorry, pardon me. See, now, what's that? What kind of note is that? You put that together with some other things. Now, like that hymn I played, you can play it without pedals. Or listen to the difference. That's all. Now, yeah, was it?
Just little knobs.
These things? Ah, so, how many hands do I have? Two. How many feet do I have? Two. Well, there's just so much for me to go around. So when I'm playing, and I want to change settings, like for the hymn, you know, we might start the first verse of the hymn. Maybe quieter or a different character for the next verse. Well, how do I do that? I can't go, while I'm playing. Right? So that's what these buttons are. Now watch. You watch these guys. See? They're all different settings. So, no, I'm not going to do that. So,
So the guys up like against the back here, are they the same thing?
these guys here?
Yeah.
These are just the pedals. They're just pedals. These move are also just the pedals. These are actually what I call couplers. I have to explain that. This is called a tutti button. Or tutti button, which is Italian. Italians, tutti, everything.
So I might have missed the beginning, because I was downstairs enjoying coffee.
Yeah, we were talking about you.
I-
It was awesome.
Is each keyboard for a different set of pipes that are back
Yeah,
there?
well, sort of, yeah. So, that's a good question, Carol. So this keyboard
Right.
goes to these stops. These are called stops. Sorry. These belong to this keyboard. These belong to my pedals. Now,
So nobody belongs to the white one?
The white one
Ah.
belongs to the organ?
well, the white one. So this
Not part of the
instrument,
organ.
this instrument is one of the, is recognized, when you read it, when you look it up, is one of the best in. So, by the way, what's the replacement value of this? How much is this organ worth? Don't guess that $10 bazillion, because I'll. So how many do you think? How much do you think? $800,000. This is an $800,000 instrument.
Sell this to
That's-
support the church.
Well, you go.
Dave, what would an equivalent electronic replacement cost?
I built, well, you guys remember, I built an electronic replacement that was, this is called 26 ranks, 26 rows of pipes in there. I built a 26 rank organ, the last church that we were at, for $8,000.
So we could purchase one probably for 30 or 35,000.
You could build an incredible instrument for $35,000.
Right,
But then how come this one's worth 800?
because there's no more like it.
It's somewhere like it. Every single one of those pipes, now, somebody asked me, those big pipes, they don't play, but they are real pipes. Right, so if you hook them up, they would play. But every single one of those pipes, 1,000 pipes, has got to be handmade. You have a craftsman who's just honing it, because you have to get it the exact right length. So the longer the pipe, the lower the sound.
What's the company that made this particular one?
This is called the Holtkamp Company. Yes.
Say that again.
Jim Holtkamp?
Old Camp.
Yeah, Holtkamp.
How long has this been here?
How long is it in here?
How long has this one been
Okay,
in our
so this is a
church?
little Ginny part of this.
Like,
Like,
35 years.
35?
right, no, but I mean, that it's a whole camp, you know how to spell it.
HOLTKAMP.
MOUSE.
And how long have we had this organ in the church?
This particular organ we've had for 35 years. Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about, if you want me to read this now, you've.
Yeah,
It's very, very simply put, because of, I wanted the children to hear it too, but.
Kids.
What I've just written is, we are having this informal gathering today to learn some of the history of our renowned organ and to hear what can be produced when played by our very accomplished organist, David Obrowski. This instrument is a Holtkamp organ and was purchased about 35 years ago to replace the former old organ. Now, I don't remember the name of the old organ that we had. I'm sorry, but I should, because I was here then too. Let's see, where was I? The pipes you see, the pipes you see are the new pipes that were built in at the same time to be displayed so that you can see where the different sounds of the organ music comes from. Our organist will be demonstrating all these sounds on this beautiful organ. The old organ was falling into disrepair and needing extensive and expensive work. Therefore, it was decided that it would be better to replace it with a new organ. So a committee was formed, led by Arthur Dayton, if anybody remembers Arthur Dayton, who took on this project with his usual energy and zeal. This all happened in the mid-'80s. 1988 is my recollection. The committee visited 3 organs in Connecticut and Massachusetts. Wayne Gunther, our organist at the time, and Bob Havery, another accomplished organist, demonstrated the organs for the committee. Bob Havery is the husband of our then choir director, Bonnie Havery. I was a member of the choir and on the committee. After due research, this Holtkamp organ from the Holtkamp Organ Company was selected. The Holtkamp instrument heard in our search was at the First Congregational Church in Watertown, Connecticut. The new organ was dedicated in 2 programs of music. The first, in 1988, was with the choir singing and leading the congregation in hymns. Wayne Gunther and Bob Havery played solo pieces and accompanied various sung hymns. A second program featured Thomas Murray, a distinguished head of the organ department at Yale University, and an artist of international stature who played at this dedicatory program. We fortunately and have been privileged to listen to what this organ produces over all these years. But I think this is enough information because we are here to hear the organ demonstrated and played by our master organist. David Oborowski is the genius who pleases us every Sunday on this instrument.
Thank you, Ginny. Awesome. The Holt Camp. So the Holt Camp Company is like 4 generations of Holt Camps. They've been building since the early 1800s. I know it.
Yeah.
So the only thing that's interesting about that is that this design, you see how contemporary this looks? Very contemporary? No, that was actually late 1800s. Why was it so different? Because the Holt Camps had a client that he was very short. He was super, super short. And he couldn't see over this big, massive console to direct his choir. So just for him, they designed this. It was a huge hit. To this day, 150 years later, it's called the Holt Camp Desk because it looks like a desk.
Yeah.
So very contemporary. So you could put this, that was one of the attractions of this from an aesthetic standpoint. You could put the Holt Camp Desk in any kind of architectural setting, and it will fit in.
What kind of wood is that, and what's the advantage, or is that wood? What's the advantage to those kinds of keys versus this?
This is a huge disadvantage for an organist. It's beautiful. This is rosewood. All right? And rosewood is cool because as it gets the oil from your fingers, it starts to darken up, and it's beautiful from an architectural standpoint. But when you get the lights down just a little bit, right, then look at this. You can't see it at all. So this is where, like for the pageant, remember we turned the lights off for the pageant. Christmas Eve, we turned the lights out, and we turned this out too. So now you can't see. Now in the dark, you can't see anything. So you gotta.
Headlamp.
Yeah. So it's beautiful, but it is
String lights.
very difficult. So what I need is, now in the early days before this was electrified, so how did you get the air into the pipes? Right? Well, the Greeks did it with water, but through, you said 1600, so from the year about 1000 up through the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, you had bellows boys. And they would.
Organs in the year 1000?
Oh, yeah, oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. So they would have these huge bellows, you know, that you blow air through, and you had to take multiple kids to push them up and down to pump enough air to get up to make the organ work. So you used to work your way up. You would start out as a bellows boy. Then you would be a page turner. Right? And then you would be what's called a registrant, which is for very large instruments, especially that didn't have these guys, these buttons to preset them. You would need somebody to change your settings while you're playing. And it had to be somebody who was very knowledgeable, could read the music, could understand the music, to know what sounds were coming when. If you were a registrant, you were pretty cool. So I was in Salt Lake City, and I got a chance to play the Mormon Tabernacle Choir organ, and I snuck in. I snuck out because I said Mormons are nice people. The worst could happen, they throw me out. So there's a man. The Mormon Tabernacle is like a stadium. It's round. It's round. And so I sit way up in the top of the stadium in the cheap seats, and there's a gentleman down there playing the organ, this massive organ which had 5 keyboards. 5 keyboards and about 30,000 pipes, one of the biggest in the country, maybe in the world. And he had his back to me. I'm way back in the set. He said, "Hey, I've been outed. You want to play?" Yeah. So he comes. He says, "I'm Jim." And as I'm realizing, so he lets me play it. He's registering for me. I realized it was James Drake. He was one of the greatest organists in the world at the time. And so it dawned on me while I'm playing. I said, James Drake is registering for me.
What did you play?
Yeah.
Oh, we played for an hour and a half. Wow. He kept putting stuff in front of me. He was practicing for a European tour and everything, and he didn't want to practice. So I said, oh, play this. Let me try. So he got a chance to experiment with settings, but he spent an hour and a half with me, once in a lifetime chance. And by the time I was done, it was like 11 o'clock Mountain Time, and so it's 2 o'clock, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning here. Nobody I could call. I was dying to call somebody. I met James Drake. He was registering for me. I can't believe it. I'm having a heart attack. Now, so that's...
To give you an idea, who's the biggest rock star you can name? Who's the biggest rock star? In your opinion. Who would you say is a big rock star?
Like, someone that plays the guitar.
No, anything.
Like Taylor Swift?
It would be like Taylor Swift coming to lead the cherub choir. That's what Mr. O was
Yeah.
talking about.
So, now, hang
Super
on.
big star.
So, now you asked about this white keyboard. Now, one thing that we don't have, so this organ is a pipe organ. There are 2 keyboards and the pedal board. So that's 3 keyboards. But the way it's set up, a lot of these sounds don't sound a whole lot different. They don't sound a whole lot different because it's built that way, it's voiced that way. And that's the preference of the organist. You could revoice it, but it's tens and tens of thousands of dollars, so we don't do it. So to get some variety, a Holtkamp is called a Baroque organ, actually a neo-Baroque organ. So Baroque, it's big sound, but not a lot of variety. So to give it some variety, we run here a hybrid system. So it starts with this. This is a MIDI keyboard, which I run off of this, and you heard that in the last hymn. So I can sample any instrument. I actually can sample an organ. So when we were at Methodist, that instrument I made, I'm getting to that. I sampled that after an organ in England. Right? It sounded just like it. So we have all sorts of instruments we can play. Okay. Now, you asked about this instrument. This is a MIDI. It generates that sound from the computer. This is a synthesizer. You've heard that. This doesn't need a computer. It generates its own. Now, if you guys, when you hear me playing, sometimes does it sound like I'm playing more than one instrument?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I am playing more than one instrument. So what I will do is, before church, I'll record a part on the synthesizer, and then I'll play a duet or a trio with myself.
Yeah.
So,
The Dave O trio.
so
Yeah, because it seemed like press the button, turn it on, and then.
instrument number 1. I recorded that before we started.
He's not even touching it. Look at it. It's playing all by itself.
Instrument number 2. Instrument number 3 coming up.
So you're your own orchestra. You're a registrant.
Pretty much. Now, what the synthesizer gives you is cool stuff. So you guys like for the pageant, right? For the pageant, what we sing "We Three Kings," right?
Oh, yeah.
We Three Kings. So I can certainly play.
Remember hearing that in the pageant? Oh, yeah.
That part on here.
See? Still using feet. So we can get some of those exotic sounds, and then we can always go, right? Big organ. So, and just about any instrument you can think of, I can see.
Yeah, what is that?
Actually, that's a tambur. That was a Middle Eastern instrument from about the time that Jesus was born in the water. The Magi would have come from the east.
Okay, so what's the difference between learning to play the piano and learning to play this? And people start to learn an instrument. Most people would start learning to play the piano and then get into organ
Yep.
music or no?
Yep. So I was actually, the old rule used to be, you couldn't study organ unless you had 5 years of piano. And so I didn't have 5 years of piano as a kid, so I went around trying to get people to give me lessons. They wouldn't give me lessons. So you ended up teaching myself. Well, there's a big difference between piano, and that's why the organ and piano, the keyboards are the same. See, I said, see the guys, same keyboard, 2 black notes, 3 black notes, 2 black notes, 3 black notes. See how that works? Same thing here. Pretend these are black. So, 2 black, 3 black, 2 black, 3 black, 2 black. So the keyboards are the same, but they don't make the same sound. Piano, you can make it soft or loud by how hard you hit it. Okay? If we had a piano, I'm not going to go down there, but you heard I can play the piano quiet, or I can play it loud. Now, that's another thing. Piano is not the real name of that instrument.
So here's a little.
See that? So what's the official name of that instrument?
You okay?
Piano forte.
Piano forte. Yeah, so it's Italian for quiet, piano, and forte, loud. And they named it specifically for that because at the time, it was the only instrument that could make itself soft or loud. Piano forte. So the rule was you had to have 5 years of piano before you play organ. But you see, the difference is, it doesn't matter how hard you hit this. It's always going to be the same volume. So when people say, oh, can you make it softer? Not really. Right? Except one way. Up in the room, where all those pipes are, there's another room. There's a secret room in the room. Right? There's a secret room in the room. You can't see it. You can't really see it. But in front of there. You can't, but you can hear it. If you can hear it, you're quiet. Listen. Hear that?
Yeah.
What that is.
Do that again. It's like it's breathing.
That's because it is. Yeah, so those are shutters. They're shutters as tall from the ceiling all the way down to about there. So they're about 20-foot shutters tall.
I kind of see them through this.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you can see them a little bit.
Actually, there's a little way you go like box.
Right? So, why the shutters? Because there's some of these pipes, like these, are inside the room in the room. Okay? And the room's walls are shutters. So when I open it up, when I close it, the shutters are closed. It sounds like singing, playing beyond this. And when you open the shutters, it does that. So you listen. I'm going to open the shutters. Just ever so slightly. The more you add, the better off you are. Hear that? So that's the only way. It's the only way to make, yeah, it's basically a volume pedal. That's the only way to change the volume. But you can't put the whole room because there's 1,000 pipes. And when you have an organ with tens of thousands of pipes, you can't possibly build rooms big enough. So the pipe room for an organ like that, like Mormon Tabernacle, is bigger than this entire room. Right? And taller. Now, the tallest pipe here is 16 feet tall. But the tallest pipe in Mormon Tabernacle is 32 feet tall. So it's 32 feet, which is, let's say, picture a pipe up to that ceiling that's big enough that you could walk into. And so you literally need a crane truck to get to the top of that pipe in order to tube it. Because you tune pipes generally. Crazy, right? So, questions? Oh yeah. They're in Ohio.
Do you need special shoes?
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I do. Yep. We have organ playing shoes, very soft leather, low heel, felt on the bottom, very similar to dancing shoes.
Yeah. You don't wear those outside.
Yeah, so
Strictly.
organists are such adult people. The most controversial thing you come up with for organists is about whether or not you should wear playing shoes or playing your stocking feet. Oh, she plays in her stocking feet. Scandal! That's about as controversial as we get. But the overwhelming majority of people play with playing shoes. And see, I have different shoes for different pieces and styles.
It makes a difference?
Oh yeah,
It does.
oh yeah, it makes a huge difference.
So like you wear different shoes for Christmas, Patrick?
Yeah, so. Yeah, so I'm just hanging out.
Start of each service, you gotta put the foot up so we know which shoes.
Dave, you got one young lady that's made it to the end. Can she
Yes,
get some keys or?
absolutely. Come on, you want to play? You just sit there. You sit there and you get the whole notes. So I don't know if you can reach this pedal. Can you reach this pedal?
Yes.
Tell you what, somebody come along here and hold this pedal for us. It'd be the lowest possible pedal. Okay, now I need you to put on your left hand, here, here, and here, with your left hand. All with your left hand. All with one hand. Oh, perfect. Now, I need you to do this with your right hand.
Use your thumb then.
Okay. Yeah, use your thumb.
Use your thumb on the first note. There you go.
Okay? You all set? Okay. The last time this happened, it wasn't good. You all set? Look at me, look at me.
Well done, what a sound.
Any other questions? Any other questions?
Yeah, you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
Is that right?
Can you fact check that?
It's Mario
So,
Speedway.
Dave, do you tune this by playing around with the pipes, or do you never touch those pipes?
Actually, most of the pipes will change tune based on the oil from your hands. Yeah, especially the smaller pipes. Uh-huh.
How do you clean these pipes?
Just what Shauna Lee said. It's called pipe dusters. That's pipe dusting. That's literally what you're doing. You're blowing the dust out.
In practice, he's like, that's it. Let's get the dust off.
Yeah, I had a stuck note because notes stick all the time, especially during the winter and the humid weather. During the winter for sure, and especially during service. So sometimes you'll see me doing it. I'm trying to open valves, right, to get the air up. Yeah. Yeah, so like a stuck valve. But when I'm practicing and I'm not around, and so, like I get a stuck note, this happens all the time. All right, it just sticks without playing it. So now what do? I pipe dust it.
Why do you have to practice if you know it?
I don't know. I don't like this kid. I don't like this kid. So.
Don't you need a little muscle memory in case something unexpected happens?
But yeah, it's a fickle instrument. It's dust and humidity, because the dust will cake on there, and then if you don't dust it, literally, then it gets wet, and then it dries, and it's like cement.
Huh.
Yeah.
Natalie, you probably think he's just here on Sunday. I've been in here like doing stuff, and he's in here practicing. So even a master continues to practice.
I'm here fixing something almost every week.
It's a full body workout because it's not just his hands and flipping the pages, his feet are going, it's all simultaneous.
Right.
that brain is amazing.
Well, it's interesting.
Jumps over here.
So,
You're playing one, two, 3, 4, it's like you're
well,
playing 5 instruments.
I'm playing, yeah, so I could be playing 2 or 3 instruments, but also, if you think about it, so it's 3 or 4 notes with your right hand, 2 or 3 notes with your left hand, like playing hymns. And so often I'm playing 4 notes with my left hand, 4 notes with my right hand, and 1 or 2 pedals with my feet. So I'm playing 10 lines of music. Now, in the hymns are written typically in 4 lines of music. If you look at your hymnal, you see 4 lines of music, and that's what most organists do. They'll play 2 notes with their right hand, 1 note with their left hand, and 1 note with the pedal. But that doesn't really fill it out as much as you can with an organ like this. So that's why I'll fill it out.
Does the music you see up there, you're doing more than you see?
Oh,
up
yeah,
there?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I rarely, and when I am playing for music, I'm looking 2 measures ahead.
So it should always say arranged by Dave.
But there's more to it though, because sometimes we're too slow or too fast, and he adjusted on that, and if anything unexpected like this note, the recalculating that you have to switch instruments without missing the continuum sound that we all hear is extraordinary.
Yeah, but oh, yeah, we got ciphers all the time.
What's a cipher?
A cipher is just when you're not touching anything, and I'll play it just to duplicate it, but a note just starts playing. It's a ghost in the works. Right? A ghost in the machine, what happens is, it's not quite that ghostly, it's just a valve that sticks open, because during the week it was freezing temperatures. Remember, it's in the attic. So the attic, whatever the temperature is outside, that's the temperature in the attic. And this instrument gets very, very unhappy when it gets cold. And if there's any moisture up there, it literally will freeze. Okay, it'll literally be ice.
Are the pipes, can they get brittle if there's a temperature flux?
Mhm.
Temperature flux?
Yep. And the challenge is that, remember, they're all different materials, so they expand and contract at different rates. So wood is not going to expand nearly as much as tin or zinc. Now what do? Well, I can't tune 1,000 pipes every Sunday. Right? So what do? I adjust all the other instruments. So anything is electronic. So what I'll do is, I don't have it, but I have a tuner. And I'll say, okay, it's supposed to be A440, but it's not. It's A439. So, okay, so I tune this to A439. I tune this to 439. I have other keyboards. I tune those to 439. So they're all close, but it all has got to match up with this guy, because it's the king of instruments, right? That's another name for it, the king of instruments. And the king of instruments, it's good to be the king. You know, we changed, it doesn't.
So when you get that ghost in the machine thing, is the key pressed down?
No,
Or you just hear
no,
it?
you just hear it.
Well, that's
Then you got to figure out
exciting.
which note it is. That's easy enough, but then you got to figure out which pipe it is. Because remember, there's 26 rows of pipes up there. So which row of pipes, which pipe in which row of those 26 rows is playing? I don't know. So all you could do is you crawl up there, and it is a crawl. It's a crawl space, and it's about that tall, about that wide. You have to get on your belly, right? Oh, yeah. Well, no, only certain people can be.
Here goes Spelunky.
Well, no, it's very rare for organists to get involved in maintenance for that reason. Yeah, no, it's even rarer still that organists that do the tech hybrids. This is called the hybrid system. I've integrated all these. I've sampled this to this. I've sampled this to this.
Now, why is that? Why is it?
This is very technical. This is very technical, and pipe organ players are kind of purists.
I was gonna say, I mean.
Yeah, I don't play much. So, but the guys who come to tune, there's 2 of them. One of them is a big guy, and he sits here and he plays a note. And there's a little guy, teensy, like a skeleton. He will crawl up there, a young guy, and he's the one crawling around on his belly. Okay, play it for me. I got it. And you only hear a voice. I got it. And they will do that all day. It's a day-long thing. But remember, 1,000 pipes you got to find the pipe. Then sometimes you can't always reach it, so you have to reach around and pull it, and then you just blow into it. And that's close enough. And then once you get it generally into it, reach around, you put it back. I was going to get one of these little pipes, that 1-inch pipe, just to show you, but it was so inaccessible. I said, I'm going to break something for sure.
Just get it.
Because, once again, you just brush against pipes, and the oil, just the oil from your hands, will change the tune, and will also change the temperament. One time, Verizon guys were here, and I wasn't here, but we'll do the royal we, let them into the pipe room. So why do you guys have to go in the pipe room? She was a disaster. It was a disaster. Tons of damage.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they don't know. They're just trying to maneuver in there, and you just brush against it. Some of these pipes are very fragile, and you bend them. That changes the tune too.
I feel what they thought wasn't going there.
I think they were looking for a router or something. I don't know what it was, but you know me, and you know what a saint I am in patience. So I was pretty miffed. Now, these pipes, you see those holes at the bottom of the pipes? Many pipes will make a sound by the air comes up from the bottom, picture it, and then like a flute or a recorder, the air blows across that opening and vibrates the air in the rest of the pipe. So, okay, but you heard me play this. It doesn't work that way. That's literally got what's called a diaphragm that does this. It vibrates, the air blows the diaphragm, and the diaphragm is doing this, and comes kind of close to making that sound. Like a reed. Yeah, it's very much like a reed. So think about a reed vibrating rather than a hole.
One diaphragm per pipe? Or is it like one diaphragm and then?
No, one per pipe. Yeah, so if there's, of the reeds, there's probably 200, 250 of those. So and those are very hard to adjust. Then the other thing, you heard when somebody sings, they're singing nice and they're holding a note and their voice has a vibrato like that. You can create a vibrato here. It's, again, it's ancient technology. One time you had a bellows boy who would take the bellows, shake the bellows. You go, I want some tremolo. And you shake it. And so now we have a motor that shakes it, but it's the same technology. So you listen to it without it. Pretty straight up. Listen to the difference. Very warm. More like a human voice. Turn it off. Now, I don't use it much because it is noisy. But not today. So, yeah, some days it's really noisy because it depends how cold it is, how unhappy it is.
So what goes into your artistic choice between when we see you playing here versus at the piano? Is it because of the music itself that lends itself?
Probably the music, yeah, and the tone I want to set. So, today for Veterans Day, I want to have something understated. I'm tempted to play something big on the organ because it's organ day. But I said, no, I wanted to, and I just, last minute, I decided to do taps as an introduction. So I said, I'm going to do taps. And then once I set that tone, I wasn't going to do anything big.
Yeah.
I was going to understate everything. And then the piano, then I end quiet. Because it's always, you do a quiet prelude, you do a loud postlude. You do a quiet prelude, you do a loud postlude. I try to mix it up.
Yeah.
Hey!
So how are the pipes attached to the floor so like they stay there?
They are, yeah. They're attached to a floor, part of the floor. Remember I showed this to you? So they are attached to a bunch of these guys. See these pipes, these tubes? The air comes from blowers in the cellar somewhere, in the basement, into here. And when I press a note, like let's say I press a key that corresponds to this tube, the air travels up to this tube and all the way up to the room to the pipe. That pipe is sitting on what's called a chest. And it's the floor. It's basically sitting on the floor, but it's a floor with lots of holes in it. So the air can get up there.
Very cool.
Any other?
How long have you been playing the organ?
I don't know. My first gig, I was, my first church director, I was 15.
15 years old?
Yeah, and I had been playing since I was 11, which is very late to start. You're supposed to start like 7 or 8.
Oh, it's just a few
Well,
years ago.
I couldn't get a teacher.
And a little bit of piano before that, before you were 11?
No.
Oh, so
No.
piano at 11?
Started at organ. That's why I couldn't, yeah, I started at organ. My father got a Hammond organ. And he got me started. He couldn't play, but he would teach himself 1 week ahead. So he got me started for a couple months. I got into it, and then I couldn't get anybody to give me lessons, but I went down to St. John's in Waterbury, and there was, my father sold a car to the organist there who was visiting from England, and David Dobson. And he was a brilliant player. He was here on a visa, and young guy. He said, I'll give you lessons. Yeah. So, but that only lasted 3 months. His visa ran out. Right? He left the United States. He ended up being the organist at Cathedral Notre Dame in Paris. Wow. He's really, really good, he was. And tragic life. He died at 50 years old. Wow. And that's a separate story. But he got me started in those 3 months. I said, okay, I can't. I'm wasting time looking for an organist, so I taught myself after that. So then I taught myself piano. I'm not really a pianist, but I'm really an organist who kind of plays piano.
You like the piano better than the organ, don't you?
No.
Oh.
No, they're very different instruments. To me, they're very different instruments. Yeah, no, I like them for different things.
So at home, do you, it's a long question, but can organs be replicated at home, like a smaller version or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Practice.
Organists,
Yeah,
I know,
exactly.
who moved up into the Albany area. Their church decided to get rid of their old pipe organ. And a member, who happened to be a surgeon, said, "Not gonna throw it out, are you?" "Oh, yeah." "I'm taking it." He took it into his basement, reassembled it in his basement, and had it at home for a number of years. And eventually the church said, "That was a mistake, to get rid of the pipe organ. I wonder how much it would cost to get a new pipe organ," and we found out.
Yeah.
The surgeon was still around, he said, "Would you like this one back?"
Mm.
All the pipes, he numbered them all
Yeah.
before he disassembled it and reassembled it.
Yeah.
Now they've got their pipe organ.
Wow.
Don't lose your fabulous
Albany,
organ.
New York.
Yeah.
Well, like Bob said, you would never replace this. God forbid something happened to this. You would never replace a pipe organ because there's so few pipe organ players.
Right.
And so it's really hard to find organists. You look at poor St. George's. They were looking for months and months and months to find an organist. And usually they find piano players who will not play pedals. So they try to cheat. So what they'll do is not pedals. You want to play pedals. So what they'll do, they cheat. They'll add something low. Yeah, instead of playing it, so, but all you can do is one note with this hand and 2 notes with this hand. And so it sounds, to me, it sounds reluctant, but you get away with it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 notes.
So they don't come in with their special shoes, you know?
They're not real.
That is true. That is true.
That's the giveaway.
So Emma wants to start studying organ, and so she starts playing with her sneakers, and that's the worst thing you can do. First of all, they're wide.
Right.
And 2, they're rubber, so they can't slide.
Yeah.
The big thing here is to be able to slide. You gotta be able to slide off those. If you stick, you miss that split second.
And you also use your heel sometimes, your heel.
Mhm. Yeah, it's called heel and toe. So let's see. See, there's the heel, right? Now, sometimes, there's some music that's written where you play 2 notes with 1 foot, which like that. That's very rare. Some of you know my son Paul. He's a composer, arranger, and he's done commission stuff. So we commissioned him years ago to write something for the church we were at, First Congregational Church in Woodbury. It was choral, it was a choir.
Woodbury.
Woodbury.
He
said Woodbury.
He said Woodbury.
I said Woodbury.
He said Woodbury.
No, you sit corrected.
Can you say like Dave, you were right?
While he's recording,
I hear it so rarely. First Congregational Church. Yeah, so we commissioned, it was brass, we had brass quartet. It was really nice. But he wrote the organ part as an inside joke for his father. Right? So when there was an organ interlude, in other words, just the organ playing, he made it as difficult as he could. The hardest thing he could come up with, just make my life miserable for me. And in the pedals, you can only play pretty much 2 pedals at a time. He wrote 3. All these little inside jokes.
That's a new shoe.
Yeah. So, see, and I hate it. No, never liked it.
Yeah, but if you could pull it off, adjust your shoes and do whatever.
No, it was like a C, G, and an E appeared. No, he made sure I was
the
there.
person down there.
So you put in one of those like spider like fake legs every time.
Yeah.
just press it out.
Questions? Comments?
What about mice?
Oh, mice love the bellows. The leather bellows? Yeah. That's why if you go up in the attic, you see a bazillion mouse traps around. Because there's a bazillion mice up there. And they love to eat the bellows. In fact, Silent Night, right? We love Silent Night, was, it was not intended for the organ. It was written for Christmas Eve. But that Christmas Eve, they were going to use the organ. Went to use the organ in the church, and mice had eaten away at the bellows. No organ. So Franz Gruber wrote on what's called an Italian guitar, which is kind of sort of like a lute. He wrote that real quick. Oh, we got to have something. So he wrote Silent Night and played it on guitar. Because of mice.
I've had a question for you on the mouse trap. I realize a lot of do they have the electronic mouse traps that signal when they've been tripped?
Or do you use old Victor mouse traps?
I don't do mouse traps. So.
No, I just thought you might have seen them, you know.
Oh, they're very conventional. They're like the Victors.
You
Yeah.
gotta get to the other ones we have to change.
Oh no, I find them.
No, you find them, yes.
It's a grisly job, but
That way we have an idea whether we were reducing the surplus population.
but to I don't want to, you don't want to be mean to mice. They're God's creatures too. But the fact is, if you let them eat the bellows, it's tens of thousands of dollars of damage. Tens of thousands.
Very humane. Really cute.
Barbara, yeah, but I found we've had empty electronic traps for a while, and the old snap ones take out the mice.
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to improve your, the resources that you have available.
I'm just a piano player. I'm not the mouse killer. I
Speaking of
can't.
piano player, anybody else that wants to throw anything in the tip jar, the tip jar is here, it's been primed at the
Which is
top.
not for the organist, but.
Just saying. Well, then, I think we all need to give Dave a huge round of applause, and Ginny for enlightening us and entertaining us. Woo!
Ginny.
I looked high and low for something that we used to have in this church. It was a little pump organ.
There's one back there.
Where is it?
It's where all the handouts are.
You want to talk and take a look at that.
It is back there?
Back where?
It doesn't, well, it's,
See all the stuff there, behind the last pew?
yeah.
That's a pump organ?
That's a pump organ back there?
Yes.
You're
I
amazing.
think
All the
it's, I
closets
think the
and.
connections all
Well, that is, bellows, once again,
have failed.
they're actually fabric.
Yeah.
When they work fabric, they completely shrink.
Yeah,
That's a pump organ, how they put it.
yeah. I understand it was used in Sunday school.
Well, many years ago, when Judge Davis was the choir director, and Norman Hovey was the
Not back
ordinance.
here.
I don't know if anybody